Hey everybody, how's everybody doing this evening? Southeast Texas, Angelina County update. Uh, Damned if they ain't getting caught. I'm making this video because it just hit the wires that Smith County has been exposed for their corruption that has been created in their county, and it's getting worse by the day. In other words, what they're finding out is the fact is that they just make up their own rules, and they're actually identifying individuals who are responsible for the corruption, the underhanded deals, police abuse, sheriff's abuse, and it's all coming to a head. And it basically should warn Angelina County that there's more people that are looking in East Texas into these practices that seem to be prevalent in every county. Now this is starting as a trend because everybody, they set their government up as what works for this other government, or whatever, the county government. And here's the deal: is that they make up their own laws. Now, I am a constitutionalist. I am. It's not a political party that does anything or whatever. However, the fact is that I believe by going by the Constitution of the United States and our Texas Constitution. These items were not just written as a maybe if you want to, we suggest. No, these are laws of the land that protect citizens from their government. Somehow here in Angelina County, we got that mixed up. I will preface the fact is that you, the commissioners, elected officials, all you individuals, you work for us. We pay your salary. A couple of years ago, you gave yourself a raise and nobody voted for it. So let's break it down here and how we're being funneled into this type of system. We have 2 county commissioners that are appointed. We have a county judge who's appointed. We have 1 commissioner who got caught misusing We have 1 commissioner who got caught misusing $300,000. And then we have 1 commissioner who never says anything in commissioner's court, never asks a question, you don't even know he's there. So basically what we have is a situation to where our county commissioners meetings are basically defined by someone, probably the county judge, but there cannot be any dissent. They have to actually all appear as a united front. This is not the form of government. A commissioner's job is to ask questions, understand what's going on, not just for himself, but for him to be able to relay it to his constituents of what and why he voted this way. It's not a commissioner up there that can do that. As a county judge, you were supposed to be transparent on all agenda items. A commissioner's meeting should not be dictating the rules and regulations and what they can and what they can't do as far as transparency and as far as him dictating the conduct of his commissioners and the ability to ask questions and show the details. And this is a set up system where our elected officials are not allowed to ask questions, or they refuse to ask questions. We can see this because every time we have a vote, it's all aye. They all agree on the decision. Now, with this being said, I don't know if you're from Angelina County or what, but every other meeting that we have involves the airport, our county airport. Okay, they say it's a big money maker. We people come in, fly in, investors fly in. Okay, but how many people actually use the airport, and why are we spending so much money? Every other meeting, we're actually building another hangar, or we're actually improving the improving the runways, or we're actually building fences so the deer can't get in. We're doing all these things to the airport, and our roads are falling apart. You think maybe in common sense they would say, you know what? Instead of spending all this money on an airport that nobody used, why don't we take that money and fix the roads that everybody uses? Common sense, huh? But no, they sell it to us. The fact is that that's what they deem necessary. That's vital to the county infrastructure. We had an audit last meeting. The gentleman came up and he didn't find anything wrong until the actual end. Now, this is going to come back to haunt Angelina County, and I want to make sure everybody understands because the commissioners, were warned. There was a problem on federal funds that we used for our budget items, for maintenance, for our roads, for COVID, and other funds that came in as well. Now, when the federal government gives you some money, there's some stipulations that you have to go by. They kind of tell you where you can, where you can't spend the money, and what it goes for to improve the county. And don't get it twisted. We got to pay this money back. At some point in time, the federal government's going to say, okay, we want our money back. But before they do that, they do an audit. Now, I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but the fact of the matter is that FEMA and other federal agencies, they go through that money. They go how you spent that money with a fine-tooth comb. You got to dot every I, cross every T, per their guidelines. And if not, not only do you have to pay the money back, but also you have to pay a penalty on that money. So this money, if the commissioners have done something wrong and not allocated this money per federal guidelines, then what this means is they coming for your money right now. You screwed up, we want your money right now. There ain't no payment plan. There ain't no, we'll pay you back later. No. And a slap on the hand. No, we're talking about money in the federal government. They're going to come get their money. If you don't believe me, wait till you'll file your taxes. Now, how this pertains, because here's the main issue, any contract that we give to somebody for whatever reason, the county contracts, they have a county contract. And if these individuals who are awarded this contract, if they're behind on their state fees, their federal fees, insurance, anything that they're actually supposed to do for the public operations as far as taxes and fees, whatever, or maybe they didn't pay their taxes on county taxes, that makes that contractor invalid. That makes it a violation of rules. So in other words, whenever we issue these contracts, lower is not always better. You have to make sure that the contractor is up to speed on all of his current fees and doesn't owe any money to the federal government and or the state. Can we say that about all of our? Can we say that about all our contractors? Well, we don't know because they didn't ask. They didn't ask. So we bid out contracts without double checking the guidelines the federal government is saying that we can use for that. See where I'm going with this? So this kind of negates the issue of just awarding contracts to the lowest bidder, and also takes away the ability to issue contracts with someone who actually put a reference, okay, for the county road administrator, and they referred, now all the business goes to this contract. Can you see a conflict of interest here? I can. But now the time for talking is pretty much it's pretty much over. Citizens are now realizing that they can get no help. They get no relief from our county judges, from our county officials, from any office involved by the county. You get the runaround, you get nobody to call you back, and you get bullshit answers. So what are people doing? In the past, people just sit back and say, well, you can't fight City Hall, you can't fight the county. Well, as an example, in Smith County, yes, they can. They went to the federal court. Federal court is an overseer of not only our elected officials, but also our judges and our attorneys. There was an article that came out yesterday that stated that they're having a problem getting enough defense attorneys to represent indigent clients. In other words, same thing here in Angelina County. Only the people who can afford a lawyer gets to go to trial. If you're indigent, you don't have no attorney to represent you. So you're forced to go pro se. You're forced to actually defend yourself. Now, I don't know about you, but hey, the law, it's not my forte. But I'm learning more and more about how to file federal lawsuits, because the fact is that's the only way things get done around here. And that's the only relief that our citizens have is by federal court. I'll give you an example. I don't want to say any names, but I'll give you an example. A detainee was assigned a lawyer. He was indigent. He was assigned a lawyer. This lawyer didn't meet with him for 6-7 months. Basically, the lawyer said, we're going to plea deal this case out. We're going to keep it on the books for a little bit. We're going to plea it. We'll end up pleading it out. Didn't work on the case at all. We know this because the fact is that when you look at the billing hours, didn't bill any hours because he didn't work on it. His only time he spent was, I'll go to court, we'll negotiate a plea deal, and it's over with. So the individual didn't even get a chance at a trial. The individual stated, look, I want to prepare a defense to go to trial. The attorney wouldn't do it. Attorney was all pissy, huffy, because you're not taking my advice or whatever. And the gentleman said, look, we have a case. If you'll just let me hear the case, hear the evidence, then you can actually produce a defense or come up with a defense. Listening to the case. The attorney refused to do that. Got mad and said, you know what? Well, if you don't take the plea deal, I'm going to resign from the case. I'm going to withdraw from the case. Which is what happened. The individual, the attorney even told the client, I got to get off this case. You don't want to go to trial with it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what evidence the prosecutor has. You're supposed to prepare a proper defense, and not only to get a lesser sentence, or to have the citizens' right to be heard. And an attorney of law denied that in Angelina County. Many individuals who get wrapped up in the system in Angelina County will say that's exactly what happens. That's what happened to me. In other words, the court forced the individual to go pro se. Every other attorney that they tried to assign the case to all said it was a conflict of interest, and they couldn't defend this client because it was a conflict of interest with their other clients. So what did they do? They assigned it without any knowledge of this attorney's office. Judge Ensman assigned it to a lawyer out of Houston, who came back and said, no, we're not taking this case. You can't force us to take this case. We're not in Angelina County. We choose not to practice in Angelina County. And no, so now we don't have a lawyer to represent someone in court, in district court. It forces this individual to go pro se. It forces the individual to say, okay, take the plea deal, because you got to prepare your own defense, because we can't get you an attorney. No other attorney in the area that we have approved will take the case. So it's forced to take a plea deal. Now, because you got to represent yourself, it gets better. When the detainee understood that the fact is that he had no choice but to represent himself pro se after all these factors, the judge denied his ability to defend himself. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you have the right to defend yourself. There's got to be some reason why the judge comes up with why you can't defend yourself. Didn't allow him to defend himself, found an attorney at the last minute who came in, didn't even talk to the client, and worked out a plea deal and went to the client and said, take it or leave it. If you don't take it, I'm going to draw it off your case today. This is after the attorney didn't even take a statement from this individual, didn't even sit down with the individual to discuss the case, didn't even take the time to meet with his client. The only time this individual met his attorney was when they went to court. Never talked to this attorney. This is what's happening in Angelina County, and it's happening because the fact is that we cannot keep up. Our justice system is failing because the fact is we got 256 people in jail. There's no way possible. Each court hears one case a month. 2 judges, that's 24 cases a month. So they're forced to pressure these individuals in to taking a plea deal. Because if they don't, statute of limitations is going to run out. Because before long, you know what? You're going to have to give me a trial, or after statute of limitations, I go free. You got 3 years. Well, it depends on the charge, but anyway, 3 years to 7 years. 7 years is like for murder, rape, serious felonies. But 3 years for felonies that cause no physical harm to anybody, or death, or multiple charges, but whatever. It's either 3 or 7 years. There's an individual still waiting to go to trial that I personally know of for 3 years. That was forced to take the plea deal. Now, as a last resort, after he took the plea deal, then he actually started doing some actual research on his own and found out multiple violations of his rights. All the way from the county, from the sheriff's department, all the way to the district court. This is happening to, at the time, Janet Castles was actually in office. She ultimately resigned real quick. I wonder why. We have another assistant district attorney, Ms. Stephanie Stroud, who actually worked out a deal that she wouldn't resign until she resolved all her cases. She's had cases for 2 to 3 years and she hasn't even tried them. She can't go to trial with them because she doesn't have the evidence. And every attorney in Nacogdoches County, surrounding counties, when they see what that's bullshit. It's bullshit. This charge was put on the individual because the fact is he took the Fifth Amendment. He asked for a lawyer. And he said, I'm not speaking. I'm not going to incriminate myself. I don't know what my legal rights are, but I want to speak to a lawyer first before. What did the Lufkin PD do? Well, we're going to charge you with this if you don't talk to us. We're going to charge you with this. And they did. Matter of fact, the detective who actually did the interview said, if you don't talk to me, I'm going to ruin your life forever. Is that not coercion? Can we see anything that's wrong with that? I mean, even if we don't have a law degree, you can actually say, that's freaking just wrong. And the law states it or whatever, but just humanity, it's like, you can't. No. But it happened. And it continues to happen. And you look at if you look at the county jail roster, there are individuals who have been there 2 to 3 years, more than that. And they can't even get a court hearing. You have one individual who was declared mentally incapable of standing trial. They kept him in solitary confinement for mentally incapable of standing trial. They kept him in solitary confinement for 1,000 days. Said that he was not the threat that other individuals would harm him and take advantage of him was the reason why they put him in solitary confinement. That is cruel and unusual punishment. You're supposed to be able to provide, as a sheriff's department, a place for this individual, even the square footage or whatever. And they didn't do so. So I got more coming of information that's coming in or whatever. I'm going to do another video here real quick because I'm waiting for status on some freedom information requests that I've sent out. Don't get it twisted. I'm not one of those individuals who just puts out freedom of information requests just to piss people off. It's not. I'm putting freedom of information requests in to the individuals who have the information and have skirted around providing the information to the public. You may not give a rat's ass about these cases. You may not care what happens to other people. And that's totally your prerogative. But you should be able to have the documentation to be able to see what's going on in your county. Transparency is a myth in Angelina County. If you do not know how your government is running, if you do not know how your government is making the decisions they make for you, it's like a transparency, something they can't get. If they are hiding things they don't want to tell you because it makes them look bad, it's like a transparency. I don't want to say that, but anyway, the thing about it is that we see this in our commissioners meeting. We see this with individuals who are actually calling out people that you can't do this, it's against the law, whatever. And we've always relied on our district courts to make the decision. With the district court all in bed, they all issue the ruling supporting the commissioners or the district attorney and or the county attorney. But they never prove, they never show us the reason. So as a warning, or not a warning, I'm not warning anybody, but anyway, it's information that I pass on as transparency. Individuals are getting just ticked off, and they're learning from other counties who are getting results how to gain this information, first of all, and second of all, file it with a federal court. Why? Because we've got to get somebody outside of Angelina County looking at these issues, just like in Smith County. It's not over in Smith County, and it's just beginning in Angelina County. They don't have to, if they refuse to answer to us and not be transparent, then they have to answer to the court. Then they have to be judged on their actions. This is what's going to start happening. Or it already is happening. And the rulings that is going to come down from our federal court system, District Court, District Court 5, which is the federal court in these cases are being heard in, they're going to start noticing the trend. All of a sudden, interest is going to be starting going up to Angelina County from other sources like the Delta Finance, Delta Consulting. And then now certain individuals are starting to say, what the hell are they doing in Angelina County? Once it gets out, it's an embarrassment. And people are going to be held accountable, as it should be. So, like I said, I'm going to probably produce another video later today. Like I said, waiting on some information. But anyway, giving you up to date where we're at, what's going on behind the scenes, and get ready, saddle up, let's go dance.